It finally happened. It finally happened. We've been waiting 8 goddamn years. Technically 6. The last game that came out was a mobile game in 2010. But come on, console release, 8 years. He's finally back. Hey guys, how's it going? Marcelo here.
And Weston.
And we had Gears of War 4 you talked primarily about, and I had some things to throw in every so often, some questions for you. That's my turn. God, reaction video in the description, maybe even at the end slate, I'm not sure yet. Crash Bandicoot is back. I'm fucking excited. The trilogy is getting remastered.
We're going to bring back the original Crash, Crash 2, and Crash Warped, fully remastered from the ground up for PlayStation 4.
And with the trilogy getting remastered, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this other topic. He is confirmed to be in Skylanders. With the newest addition to the franchise, Skylanders Imaginators, where you get to create your own Skylanders. My question is, first and foremost about that, let's get that out of the way real quick, just because I'm not going to spend the entire time on it. This is not going to become the Crash Spiral Rant Part 3, where it's like 55 minutes long. This is not going to happen again. But one thing I want to say is, he doesn't look that bad. One of the things, and we'll be talking about that because I made it my lock screen. So you can't really see that. Here's a picture of what he looks like. Let's let you talk, because you told me a little bit about when I showed you this a while back. You had some things to say about it, so
yeah, I don't really care for his design too much. Like, I get what they were trying to do, but I don't know, I just don't really care for it. For that little slight redesign.
We talked about detail, and that was one of the things that kind of put you off. The detail on him.
I mean, yeah, just like from the fur looked pretty blocky, and I know other games do it, but I felt like in other games they did it a bit better.
Because it looks like patches are blocky, which does look kind of funky. The thing is, one of the things that I have to say, so yeah, about textures and just how the fur looks on him, because this is the first time since Microsoft's version of Wrath of Cortex tried to put realistic fur on him and Coco in that game. This is the first time that they're trying to make Crash look pretty detailed, and it matches the kind of blockiness of the other characters just in their design in general. Like, whereas Spyro has scales, so there's not much of a texture on him. Like, there's some very smaller, intricate details on him, but you can see some patches of scales on him. Crash, it's fur. And with that out of the way, because I don't have a whole lot to say about it, I'm like, just, whatever. With the textures, with the fur, yeah, they could have made it look a bit better, but I don't really care a whole lot. The one thing I looked forward to was his actual character design, because Crash's design has changed throughout the years. But actually, so we saw the reveal trailer, and then we also saw, well, you didn't see what I saw, a spot with one of the guys from Vicarious Visions, because as it turns out, Vicarious Visions, who worked on the Game Boy Advance games and Crash Nitro Kart, are going to be handling Crash's inclusion in Skylanders and the remaster of the trilogy. So Naughty Dog, unfortunately, still doesn't have anything really to do with Crash besides putting in that Easter egg, or as I wanted to start calling it now, an homage in Uncharted 4. But I think Naughty Dog was like...
talking about that homage, I did see my brother play that part of it, so...
Did you play that part?
No, I did not. I have not played Uncharted 4. It's my brother's, and he's very picky on who he lets play his games.
Okay.
He got mad at me when I was playing Fallout 4 because I was bored. So he took it away from me. So I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna play it.
Alright. I played that part, and from if you want to talk Uncharted 4 real quick with that inclusion, it felt pretty similar to the first game. You know, it looked very similar. A lot of people complain on like Twitter. People that I follow on Twitter go like, "Oh, so it's very stilted. It's very, you know, blocking on the way we were talking about, but just very like stilted in the controls. You know, he runs kind of stiffly and it looks kind of funky because they built that entire level, the boulder level, from the ground up for that homage. And I see that as like, I personally see that as, oh, they're making fun of how the PS1 games looked and felt and just kind of controlled back in the day. In terms of control when you play this part of the game, it's pretty faithful to kind of how he feels when you play the very first game. It feels kind of like that. But back to the main topic at hand, Crash and Skylanders, as I was trying to say a while back and just we kind of trailed off, his design reminds me a lot of the older concept art designs, which a couple of those, like his mug, his face, and all of that, parts of that design actually made it into the first game as like details on like stone slabs in the background of certain rooms of whatever, you know, like when you miss boxes and you're stuck in this one little screen, there's a piece of detail in the background of his face, and it's a very 2D cartoonish face, and it comes from older concept art, and that's what I feel they pulled from for his design in Skylanders, which I'm fine with because it looks pretty cool. It could have been a lot worse. He could have looked as ugly. I still stick to my guns. Spyro looks ugly, and they could have made Crash look just as ugly, and they didn't really. The only complaint I have about his design is they could have made his face a little smaller. Because when he's like, aha, and like his jaw's all the way down to here, it's down to like here. It's down to his chest area, and that's where it gets a little weird just because it doesn't look proportionate in terms of his face covers up like most of his body when he's expressing himself, you know? But they brought back Aku Aku as like a kind of, you know, weapon, which is really cool. And apparently Aku Aku kind of communicates, you know, what Crash is wanting to say and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of begs the question. I think Jess Harnell is returning as the voice of Crash for this inclusion of Skylanders. Will Greg Eagles come back as Aku Aku if Aku Aku is going to talk whenever you play as Crash and all that? And that's one of my main questions, really. As well, one thing I wanted to talk about as well, his moveset is pretty faithful because you've got his slide, his spin, obviously you need to spin, his belly flop. He has some combat moves which I do think they might have tried to take inspiration from Crash of the Titans or Crash Bandicoot the Mutant, so there is a little bit of inspiration from that in this inclusion. It's not that bad. It could have been a lot worse. So shut up, but I do want the figure. How do we get the figure? Unless they end up, which I hope is the case, unless they announce this, because they haven't yet, if you can get him individually as a character, as a figure, you might have to get the bundle for this game. Not that I'm gonna fucking keep the bundle if that's what I end up doing. What I might do, so because it comes out in October, I believe it's October 16th of this year, which is not that far away to be honest. And this is cool, because like I said, we've been waiting so long for something. And when this rumor came out, days before E3 actually happened, we were like, I made a discussion video about it, you can check it out on Destination Mark. I'm like, this is dumb. It's a dumb idea, and it still kind of is. I'm trying to warm up to him being in this game, and this is the first thing they're doing to celebrate his return to the gaming industry. But I don't know. It's not that bad. It could have been a lot worse. And so what I might end up doing, since it's coming out in October, for the Arc 6 update video, if I have to get the bundle, then I'll get the bundle. I'll keep the figure. I might even try to play the game with him in it to see how he feels, and I can report back on that. Then I'll just sell the game because I don't want to keep the game. I'm not trying to endorse Skylanders as much as I'm supporting this Crash figure, and that's how they're getting me, because they knew that the game is whatever and some people weren't gonna like it, but now that they have both Crash and Spyro, they're utilizing Crash finally, but it's in a way that's like, damn it! Why are you doing this, Activision? Fuck! So, the figure looks cool. But, is there anything you want to say real quick before we go to the next remaster?
Not really, no, I think you covered it pretty well.
Son of a bitch.
Now, to the thing that you were actually really happy about, the remaster of not the first game, not the first and second game, but the first 3 games. How does that make you feel?
Fucking hell, dude. Okay, so, and again, I'm not gonna talk a whole, we're gonna end the episode soon enough, don't worry, it's not gonna go on forever. If you want to hear more in-depth stuff about this from me, again, Destination Mark, I have the initial reaction to the announcement, and I have a discussion video that came out the day after Sony's conference where I sat down and was like, okay, or stood up rather, and was like, okay, so what does this all mean? And then I talked more about it. So, with the 3 games, I say it's about damn time, because Naughty Dog's properties, all of them besides Crash, has had a remaster or whatever the case was, an HD collection. Uncharted 4 was the last one to do it because we got Jak and Daxter, the collection, which I have on the PS3. We have Uncharted 4, like I said, or Uncharted was the last one, the trilogy, was their most recent property to get remastered in HD. It's for the PS4, right before Uncharted 4 came out. And The Last of Us, you know, a good year or so after it came out on the PS3, it got remastered for the PS4. But Crash was never remastered and never nothing. Not for the 10th anniversary, not for anything like that. Nothing happened. So we were like, okay, well, our speculations for this year was if he comes back at E3, it's going to be 3 themes. Mainly it was 2 themes because we were trying not to think about Skylanders, but that was one of those options because of these rumors. The rumors started as early as about 2013 for Crash Bandicoot and Skylanders, and we were like, what the fuck? No, that's a stupid idea. And as soon as it came up, it got debunked. And we hadn't heard that rumor again since, until days before E3. Now, as it turns out, it was true. But in terms of the remaster, where was I going with this? Hold on, I'm trying to remember what I was just saying.
Either it was gonna be he was gonna be in Skylanders, they were gonna make a new Crash game,
Yeah, okay.
or they were gonna remaster the first 3 games.
Exactly, okay, thank you.
Well, not the first 3 games, but remaster.
No, we were thinking it had to be the trilogy
Oh, okay.
for Naughty Dog. So, we were saying an HD remaster or a reboot. Because they were trying to make a reboot before, which was later confirmed as a game called Crash Landed, which was supposed to come out in 2010, and was supposed to have a racing tie-in, which might have been a reboot of Crash Team Racing, because they went under the same title. But since that team got laid off and Activision was going through whatever shit they were going through, those games never came out. So we were hoping, well, if they do a reboot, maybe they'll retool everything and do another and make it come out this time a whole other reboot. Even Andy Gavin, one of the creators of Crash, was like, I have ideas, and he threw out in like an interview or something one time, ways you could do a reboot. It's definitely doable. Seeing as how Insomniac handled the Ratchet and Clank reboot, you played it, I played it, I haven't beaten it yet, you actually did. It's a good game, and they handled it really well. With the Crash reboot, there's definitely a way to do it. I'm not going to speculate on how they would do it because I'm supposed to be talking about the remaster, so let's really talk about that. The way, the presentation, for how they did it was fucking amazing because it came right after Call of Duty, so you know, on the Activision train, right after Call of Duty, which also I want to say, just real quick, we'll get to the topic at hand. Sony handled the trailer and just talking about, or not talking so much talking about, but showing off Call of Duty Infinite Warfare better than Microsoft did because they waited to show off the title of the game until the end, and the game itself they made, somehow, I don't know how they did it, but the way they showed it off kind of made it look interesting. There's some intrigue, there's some mystique. What is this game? What's going on? It looks to be aboard some space station looking thing. Alright, well, it's Call of Duty Space. So, alright, but hey, they showed it off better than Microsoft did. But after that came silence, and it showed the crowd, and then you see the lighting bounce off the people in the crowd, and you just hear it. Dun, 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 dun. There's the theme song. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I'm like, all you need was the first 5 notes, and immediately I was like, Crash, Crash, holy shit. And Sean Layden, that freaking sly devil, walks up on stage, and his shadow is Crash. So I was like, God damn it, Sean Layden. He goes, yeah, sorry, no shirt tonight, because he teased us with a Crash shirt at PlayStation Experience 2015. I'm like, God damn it, dude, really? Like, he knew all along what he was doing. Of course he did. Later, during a podcast about PlayStation, he was on as a guest, and he goes, there's a platformer that came out at the time of the 90s. I can't exactly talk about it, because, you know, some things were going on in the background, so I gotta give them props. They tried so hard to hide this from us, and we couldn't. Technically, they succeeded, because we couldn't pinpoint what was going to happen. We knew from all these teases, that's what they couldn't keep secret. They kept teasing. Come on, for the 20th anniversary of PlayStation in general, you could have put anyone on top of a cake to celebrate the 20th anniversary. It was the 4 consoles stacked up all in cake form, and they put Crash on the top. Like, that is a big sign right there, amongst all the other big signs that they've been throwing out there since 2013. But he finally comes up on stage and he goes, yep, it's happening. We're remastering Crash. We're bringing back Crash 1, Crash 2, Crash 3 in HD, remastered from the ground up for the PS4. Now, they didn't show anything about what it looks like, and that's what kills me the most. I want to see what these games look like built from the ground up. One of my friends, G-Man Rocks, that I talk to a whole lot, you know, more nowadays, and that we're doing a Crash fan film together, he made a point of, if they wanted to go the route of all the other Naughty Dog properties and just boost them up, you know, frames per second wise and quality wise, you know, 1080p, whatever the case is, Sony could have done that years ago, and I definitely agree with G-Man with him saying that. They could have done it years ago, but no, Crash is too big for Sony as an IP for that. They're going to go all out and build the games back up for the PS4, and Jesus, that is awesome. I really want to see more of that, and maybe they'll even tease more at PSX 2016. You never know. That's what they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake last year. They announced it at E3, and then they showed off gameplay at that PSX convention. Oh, yeah. So they could possibly do that with Crash. I hope they do that with Crash. They already announced that, well, they didn't so much as announce it on stage, but it is confirmed that it's not coming out until vaguely 2017. They didn't give quarters, they didn't give early, mid, late. It's just sometime 2017. But if I had to put a definite stamp on it, or just some kind of vague guess, I would say spring or summer. Maybe spring of 2017. But it's Vicarious Visions, with the help of Activision giving the okay to do this. It's awesome. If not Naughty Dog, which I really wished it was Naughty Dog to do this remaster, Vicarious Visions is the next best thing, because if you look at the games they did for Crash, they're pretty faithful. In look, in style, in gameplay, pretty faithful. So, expectations. For Crash and Skylanders, expectations, okay, one thing I do want to say, which I said in the discussion video, is I want the HD remaster to be the thing for Crash's revival that gets the popularity, that gets the talk of the town. That's what we need to see and have and play. And if you want to get younger audiences to really enjoy Crash Bandicoot in the modern era, we need the attention, at least most of it, if not all, which of course not all of it will be on just this. We needed to go to the HD remaster, because that is the essential Crash experience. That is Crash Bandicoot. That's how we experienced it for the PS1, and kids nowadays can experience it for the PS4, looking better, sounding better, feeling better. The Crash cameo in Skylanders is cute. It's a nice little thing that they're doing. The design's a bit debatable, stuff like that. But we do not need them to abuse Crash in this game and to make him the way they're doing it with Spyro, to make duplicate Skylander versions of Crash that look different and do slightly different things that they're going to use for later Skylanders games. We don't need that. If he's going to be a cameo for PS4 only, the PS4 version of Skylanders Imaginators only, that's all you need. Good. Hey, here's some attention for Crash, but get ready, because we're using that to promote this, the HD remaster. That's what we need. That's what the kids of today need to start looking at and start learning about and start playing. So that's my expectation. Do you have anything to add? Will this entice you to play Crash because you'll have it for the PS4. You don't have to worry about finding a way to play the ones I have or borrowing my PS2 or something.
It's a possibility.
To intrigue you. I know for damn sure you don't care about Skylanders. You're not going to do anything with that.
Of course not. It could be. It's a possibility. It would have to be dependent on if it's reasonably priced, and I might pick it up.
If it's for like $40, because we found out a couple other games, I'm not remembering any specific ones, but some for PS4, Ratchet & Clank was $40, which surprised me. I was like, hey, it's affordable. It's something that people do know about and have, elder fans, know. And it was handled really, really well. The exact same theme, which I've been saying on my channel for the longest time, can be done to Crash. It's not that hard. It's just the whole rights thing, and the fact that Activision is Activision, and I think that is what primarily stopped people from trying to do something with him, and that's why we had to wait 8 years. So, I don't want to. Okay. Verdict 4.5 because I wanted to say 5, but because it's the original 3 games, but because it's a remaster and they're building it from the ground up, G-Man also made a point like this, which I agree with. Ratchet & Clank, the reboot, now because it's a reboot, they kept some very, very familiar planets from the original PS2 game, but they changed the structures on those planets, and they added in some new stuff, some new planets. So it's not the exact same experience, but there are moments and there are places you go to and things you do that are directly ripped from the second game. Hi, cat. He's sniffing at your hair. Aw, he wants to get some love. Okay, but you need to get down, dude. This is not Minnie. Rest in peace, Minnie. This is, whoa, okay, he just jumped off. That's my other cat, Boy. So, his name is Boy. We didn't name him that, that's what his name was when we got him. We just kept it. Okay, anyway. What was I saying? Jesus Christ. Okay. So, like G-Man said, Ratchet & Clank was built from the ground up. And, some things were ripped straight from the original game. So what they could do, I don't know if this necessarily should, but they could do this, and depending on how they do it, that's why there's a 0.5 left to be determined off of gameplay. Since they're going to have to reconfigure the control scheme and do all that stuff. Will it feel the way I said Uncharted 4 felt this way with the homage? It felt like the first game. Will the Crash remaster for all 3 of the games, because all 3 of the games, Crash's control was slightly tweaked. So it's something I mentioned in my quick reviews on Destination Mark about Crash 3. So will they have him control the exact same way? Will they give him his slide and belly flop in the first game for the remastered version? Maybe not. I wouldn't think so, because it would actually take some of the challenge out of those levels from back then. Control and just how it looks. Will there be new elements for levels? Will there be entirely new levels, or will they tweak around some of the older levels? I don't know, because unlike Ratchet & Clank, where it's going from planet to planet, but there are whole environments, Crash is level based. You go through different levels, so there's a lot they can tweak. There's a lot they can do, and I just want to see more. So 4.5 for me, verdict.
I'll go 4 out of 5.
Okay.
If they make it reasonably priced, and if they do, like you said, I think this game could be really good.
Okay.
Especially, like, the remasters could be really fun.
Seeing as you played Ratchet & Clank and you actually did pretty much legitimately enjoy yourself, I think that you should give this version of Crash a try.
Yeah, that's really a possibility, yeah.
So, I'm Marcelo.
I'm Weston.
And this was, I'm excited. I'm fucking ready, man. It's been so long. I'm not getting all choked up, but I kind of want to cry right now because I'm fucking done. But I'm ready at the same time. This is the E3 sub-arc, 2016. See you guys later.
Hi.
We're going to bring back the original Crash, Crash 2, and Crash Warped, fully remastered from the ground up for PlayStation 4.